station, Manx Radio.
Moramai, good morning. This is Judith Lay welcoming you to Manx Radio and to the podcast of this week's edition of At Your Service.
Manx Radio.
This morning's programme is packed with song as we celebrate and give thanks for the talent of a popular local musician who is also making history, as we'll soon find out. On Friday night at Trinity Methodist Church at Rosemount here in Douglas, the pews were filled with people from all over the island, from churches of all denominations, and a combined choir set the gold standard for the evening with the choral introit Gloria in Excelsis Deo from Vivaldi's Gloria. The choral introit from Vivaldi's Gloria. And before I tell you about the singers, let me tell you that the organist you heard there is Gareth Moore, who is the very centre of our programme today. Gareth is the organist and musical director at Trinity Methodist Church at Rosemount here in Douglas. He's also very involved in the life of the church in which he grew up. That's Balagary Methodist Chapel. But in truth, there are probably very few churches and chapels of all denominations on the island where Gareth hasn't played organ or piano at some time. And it's all these strands of Gareth's music and church life which were drawn together at Trinity on Friday night for an historic presentation. During a special service led by Reverend Dr. Janet Corlett, minister at Trinity and also chair of district or head of the Methodist Church on the island, Gareth was presented with the Honorary Membership Diploma of the Guild of Church Musicians. The reason he was given the award and the reason why history was made is something we'll find out in a little while. But let's have some more music. The congregation have a chance to sing now together with the choir for this service, which is an augmented choir of the Balagary Singers, Trinity Church Choir and their friends. Rehearsals have been a collaboration between Gareth and Dr. Mandy Griffin, and it was she who actually conducted the choir on Friday evening. Gareth was very involved in planning the whole service, choosing the readings and, as you might imagine, all the music. Here our choir and congregation together with Blessed Assurance, Jesus is Mine. The Bible readings, again Gareth's choice, were read by close friends. Lifelong friend Emily Moss, a school pal and member of Balagary Chapel, read Psalm 150, which very appropriately speaks of praising God with trumpets, harps, stringed instruments and woodwind. Indeed, let every living creature praise the Lord. The second reading was given by another of Gareth's close friends, Zoe Cannell. Zoe read from chapter 4 of Paul's letter to the people of Philippi, which includes the encouragement to keep your minds on whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. The times of prayer also drew on both Gareth's churches. Rita Norrie, also from Balagary, led the opening prayers, and Yvette Sale, a member of Trinity Church Choir, led the prayers of intercession. Also in attendance was the Archdeacon of Man, the Venerable Irene Cowell, and Dr. Peter Littman, who is musical director at the Cathedral in Peel, and they were there to present the award to Gareth. Dr. Littman is himself an honorary fellow of the Guild of Church Musicians and the Guild's representative on the island. Dr. Littman presented Gareth with the distinctive blue hood and read out the citation which, and I quote, bestows the award of honorary membership of the Guild of Church Musicians on our friend and colleague, Mr. Gareth Moore. Dr. Littman continued, Gareth is well known and respected across the island as an organist, accompanist, teacher and church musician. His indefatigable work, particularly across the Methodist Church on the island, is widely known. The citation continues. However, the COVID-19 pandemic threatened the church's very existence. Gareth quickly combined his knowledge of music and technology and began preparing weekly music for online services, accompanying himself on organ, piano and harmonium, and even multi-tracking harmonies singing alongside himself. His amazing efforts were noticed by the National Administration of the Methodist Church in London, and Gareth was subsequently invited to produce musical resources for the wider Methodist Church's online worship. The Guild of Church Musicians Council was struck by Gareth's sheer devotion to duty, his faith-based insight when approaching planned worship, and his strong musical presence and leadership, which helped and continues to transform worship both on our island and within the wider context. It is no surprise that Gareth is to be honoured today by the Guild of Church Musicians, and in addition it should be noted that Gareth is the first Methodist church musician ever to achieve this distinction since the Guild's foundation in 1888. And as Dr. Littman announced that history was being made, every person in Trinity Church rose to their feet to show their appreciation. And when the applause eventually subsided, it was time for Gareth to say a few words.
Thank you all for giving up your Friday evening to be here tonight. It really means so much that you're here to celebrate with me. A friend of mine was recently passing Trinity after an evening out with some friends. Stopping at the traffic lights outside, she remarked that in a few weeks she was coming here to an award ceremony. Her friend said, "What, in the Rosemount?" And she said, "No, in the church. That's what happens when you're in your 40s. You go to church on a Friday night and have tea and cake and sing hymns." It's a real honour to have been presented with this award this evening. Thank you to everyone who has enabled this to happen, those who have put me forward for the award, and those who have helped put the evening together. Thanks to Trinity for hosting this evening and for always being so warm and welcoming. Thanks to all who have catered tonight. There's a lot of cake and it looks delicious. Thank you to Janet, our minister, for all her help and time in bringing this evening together. To my good friends Mandy Griffin for conducting, Zoe Cannell and Emily Moss for reading, Rita Norrie and Yvette Sale for their prayers, and to the amazing group of people sat behind me in the choir stalls. The Balagary singers, Trinity Church Choir and friends who have joined together to sing so wonderfully well for us this evening. They are always so willing to give up their time to help me, and I'm so grateful not just for tonight, but for every occasion when, usually on the last minute because of my own lack of organisation, you come together and make the most wonderful music, with so many laughs along the way. It really does mean so much to make music with good friends of many years, many of them behind me here, and so many of you in front. We have had so many laughs along the way and shared in each other's happy and sad times, and I consider it a real privilege to call you my friends. So thank you. Tonight is an award given for service to church music. Church music is such an intrinsic part of my life and has been the foundation of my musical career, starting many years ago on a harmonium in Balagary Sunday School. I owe so much thanks to everyone who encouraged me back then. It really is down to you that I went on to study more seriously, and because of the confidence you gave me to have a go in a safe place without pressure or criticism. To all of you at Balagary and here at Trinity who continue to encourage and support all the musical events and services, thank you. I consider my music to be a gift which I believe is from God, and I believe that we should all use our gifts in the service of others. For me, worship is the most important thing that I can do with the gifts I have been given, and it is such a privilege to help others to worship and enable praise to happen. Music can facilitate emotion that can't be expressed with words, and all of us here who are musicians both in the church and outside hold a privileged position in allowing others to express themselves. I thank God for the ability to praise using my hobby and the skills that He has given me. And finally, thank you to my wonderful family, particularly to my wonderful mum, who pretty much on her own after the death of my father in 1993, magnificently encouraged both Martin and I, and always supported the things we wanted to do. Prior to me driving, she has sat in many a cold church, listening to me hacking out my organ pieces, and has always been on hand with constructive and sometimes rather brutal, honest criticism. Thank you to Ben, my partner, for putting up with musical dramas, but quietly supporting from the sidelines. He is a constant support in everything that I do. It would be remiss of me not to mention Granny, my favourite Blue Rinse fan, who was such a supporter of all my music, and I know that she and Dad will be singing along from on high tonight. Once again, thank you all for coming.
Now, as you were listening a few moments ago to the words of the citation, you might well be wondering just what Gareth's music is like. So I asked Gareth to choose for us one of his recordings. What you will hear now are 6 voices and 2 pianos. All of the voices are Gareth's, and both the pianists are, yes, you've guessed it, Gareth.
When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will keep singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. So, amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be disheartened, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend, help and comfort give you till your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done.
just one of a big collection of traditional and modern hymns and worship songs that Gareth Moore has recorded for use in online worship and beyond. And so we return to Friday's service for another magnificent offering from the Augmented Choir directed by Dr. Mandy Griffin, the Ballagary Singers and Trinity Methodist Church Choir with the anthem Let All the World in Every Corner Sing. The words are by George Herbert and the music by Rafe Vaughan Williams. Minister at Trinity and leader of the Methodist Church on the island, Reverend Dr. Janet Corlett, gave a short address and pronounced a blessing before choir and congregation joined together for the final hymn, All Hail the Power of Jesus' Name. programme this morning celebrated the award of honorary membership of the Guild of Church Musicians to Gareth Moore, and the music was recorded during a special service on Friday evening at Trinity Methodist Church at Rosemount here in Douglas. And we end with our usual look at our notice board, and there are lots of things happening later today. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, Castletown Metropolitan Silver Band will give a concert in Castletown Methodist Church. And also this afternoon at 3 o'clock, there's an organ recital in St Matthew's Church on the corner of Ridgeway Street and the Quay here in Douglas. Matthew Atherton from Yorkshire makes a welcome return to the island, and his programme will include work by Mozart, Bach, Walton and Vidor. The concert will be followed by light refreshments, and whilst there's no admission charge, there will be an opportunity to donate to a retiring collection as you leave. Also this afternoon at 3 o'clock, there'll be a service in Abbeylands Chapel led by Mrs Elaine Christian, with a warm welcome for all. Cheryl Cousins at St James's, Dalby, says we're continuing our celebrating with an Easter Taizé service of praise this evening at 6:30 at Dalby. Everyone is welcome to this peaceful, prayerful service, which will be followed, as is usual in Dalby, by tea and cake in the schoolrooms. Tonight, the Mariners Choir will be in Port St Mary Methodist Church for a service at 6:30, which will be led by Reverend Richard Hooton from Onken. And looking ahead to next Sunday, the 23rd, Sulby Methodist Church invite you to join them for their annual Blessing the Bees and Their Keepers service. That's next Sunday at 10:30, when you're invited to come and meet the island's beekeepers and give thanks for their work. Crosby Silver Band will be providing the music, and there'll be light refreshments after the service next Sunday morning in Sulby Methodist Church. And that's all that we have time for now. But I'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock for Sundown, your invitation into our virtual late lounge for a mix of easy listening music and a bit of nostalgia to round off your day. I'd love you to join me if you can. So till whenever we meet again, this is Judith saying thank you for listening, and I wish you and those you love a blessed and peaceful week and a very good morning.